Hello and welcome to Inconvenient History. This is the very first episode on my new YouTube channel. My name is Andrew, and I started Inconvenient History just to teach people the past of the Democrat Party that's just so incredibly inconvenient to them that they don't want anyone to know. The past, the history of this country that the left and the Democrat Party find so incredibly inconvenient because it's completely counter to the narrative that they like to push with regards to this country being systemically racist, or it was founded to preserve slavery, or what other nonsense that they absolutely come up with. Believe me, it's all false. It's all incomplete. It's all wrong. It's all false. It's all just complete garbage, and I can't stand it. So I wanted to make this YouTube channel just to teach people the actual history of this country that's completely counter to what the left says. And I wanted to start it off with talking about an insurrection, not the January 6th insurrection, but an actual insurrection. Before I move on, I want to encourage everyone to hit that like button, hit subscribe button, notification bell. I'm going to post videos as often as I can, but believe me, hitting that subscribe button and like button will really help me out. I do appreciate it. So over the past couple of years, I've learned a lot about U.S. history, more than I ever learned in school, at any level of school, high school, college, whatnot. And I learned all this history from an organization called wallbuilders.com. It's a nonprofit organization that its goal is to teach forgotten U.S. history. And I got a book from them called Setting the Record Straight, American History in Black and White. It's by David Barton. He's the founder of Wall Builders. And I'll link this book down below in the description for those who want to get this book right off the Wall Builders website. It's an excellent book, well written and well researched. Lots of great sources in here, a lot of sources, hundreds in fact. So there's a little passage here I want to read. It's about a page long, so I want to read this here. Now, to set the scene of what point we are in the book, immediately following the Civil War, many state legislatures started getting black Republicans elected. At the time when blacks were freed, there's no more slavery. The black Americans overwhelmingly were voting Republican, at least 95%, maybe even a little bit more than that. So all the black Americans elected to office, whether it be federal or state level, or even local level, they were all Republicans. So that's the scene. I want to set that right here. So I'm going to start reading this. This was one page here. Of course, Democrats were not pleased with this progress. Progress being a lot of black Americans being elected to state legislatures all throughout the South, nearly every southern state. Therefore, they took decisive action. For example, in Georgia, where the state legislature was still in the hands of Democrats, they ruled that while blacks might have the right to be elected, they did not have the right to serve in office. Democrats therefore expelled 31 elected blacks from the Georgia legislature, thus keeping the majority in the hands of Democrats. So great were the gains of blacks through the Republican Party that Democrats began to fight back, not only as they did in Georgia, through the manipulation of laws and election results, but also literally started fighting back in Louisiana. Recall that black Americans had made huge gains in Louisiana with the election of 127 black legislators, and even a black lieutenant governor, PBS Pinchback, who later served as state governor. To halt such progress, in 1866, Democrats, in conjunction with the city police and the Democratic mayor of New Orleans, physically attacked the Republican convention in that city, killing 40 blacks, 20 whites, and wounding 150 others. Here's the kicker. Democrats later, in 1875, rushed the floor of the Louisiana legislature to seize power by force away from the elected black Republicans, but federal troops arrived to restore peace and return African Americans to their lawfully elected positions. Similar violent and often deadly attacks by Democrats against Republicans also occurred in other states. And that's where I wanted to leave it. So January 6th, oh my gosh, it was horrible. We nearly lost our whole government. It was nearly overthrown by a bunch of people who did not have any guns, right? They just walked in there, just going to overthrow the whole government and completely start running the show. That was not an insurrection. What occurred in 1875, that you hear in this book, that you read in this book, was an insurrection, where the Democrat Party actually went in and physically removed legislators, duly elected legislators, seizing power from the state legislature, where we had to have federal troops go in and restore power. That is an actual insurrection, and that's what occurred in 1875. The Democrat Party finds that awfully inconvenient. They don't like to talk about their past, but we're going to talk about their past, and we're going to talk about it video by video. So that's the end of today's video. That's the little tidbit of history I wanted to give everybody. If you want to read more, pick up this book right here from wallbuilders.com, link down below in the description. The next video I'm going to put out is going to be on we're going to talk a little bit about Thomas Jefferson. The left likes to say, oh, Thomas Jefferson, he was a racist. Well, you say, why was he a racist? He owned slaves. That's why he was a racist. And that's a good argument. That's a good argument to make. I'm not going to say, owning slaves was a good thing, because it wasn't a good thing. It was very bad. And he owned a lot of slaves too. Several dozen. I don't know the exact number. But there's more to Thomas Jefferson's past than just simply owning slaves. It's much more complicated than that. And there's some information I want to share with you all in the next video that's it's going to make his past seem just a little bit more complicated and not as straightforward as the left likes to make it seem, where they just simply say he's a slaveholder, so therefore he's a racist. So tune into that video. That'll be the next video where we talk about Thomas Jefferson. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Please let me know what you think of this video. Give me comments down below. I really do appreciate it. Any feedback at all, positive, negative, I want to hear it all. So thank you so much for tuning in, and catch that next video on Thomas Jefferson. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.